Do I need to create new social media accounts for a new project? Business Questions Answered here, episode number 31. This is Business Questions Answered here. I'm Jay Cleveland Payne, an independent business strategist with over 20 years of experience, using that experience and knowledge to hopefully answer some of your questions and save you some of the pain and hassle that I personally had to suffer. My business life has been filled with plenty of wins, even more losses, and the realization that knowledge is power. And I am allowing you to gain some of your own power by transferring knowledge I personally learned myself, plus input from other veteran business people. For more information on how you can get your business questions showcased on this podcast or about any of the business services my company offers, visit the website businessquestionsanswered.com. This episode is sponsored by Blinkist. More on the sponsor in a moment, but first, let's get to today's question. Today's question comes from Lindsay, who's looking to possibly share her past social media fame for a new project coming up. The question reads like this. My husband is opening a food truck with two guys he just finished culinary school with. I had some success with social media as a lifestyle and mommy blogger, so I'm going to help the effort with social media promotion. Then move to more traditional PR as the chefs start seeing profits, hopefully soon. Should I use my current social media accounts to start promotions or set up a new account, even if it means beginning at zero? So this is an interesting question because assuming that wise men really do say that only fools rush in, then the vast majority of the world was not listening as social media was beginning to take hold. Now, the consequences of our naive actions back when we were setting up our Friendster accounts are coming back to haunt us, and pretty badly, as our cultivated bad online habits are having real consequences in our personal lives and the world that's around us. I'm not sure if I can save the world from the armies of Russian bots, of course, but I can offer a piece of social media management advice for everyone out there who had decided to jump into the world of selling online stuff after they decided to do the social media, to keep the two out of the mix. We all need to have separate lives, living our separate lives separately from each other, especially in our digital offerings. Separating your real life with your totally imperfect family and friends that are, of course, overly filtered, overly staged, and overly beautiful is a great idea to keep the brand persona separate from the fabulous attachments that supposedly go along with that great thing, because your real life and your online life are probably not the same. Maybe it is, probably not. And it's totally okay to sell the overly positive image to anyone who's willing to buy it. Simply, it just is. That's why Coca-Cola spends billions of dollars in advertising every year, so you can think about Coca-Cola when you come to a decision to buy something to drink. But you don't see embarrassing selfies of Dale from accounting singing at the karaoke bar on some random Saturday night that's popping up in the feed for the corporate Coca-Cola feed. It just doesn't happen because they don't let people share their personal stuff in the business feeds. Now, that may be a overly the top example, but it's just how it is. So this is how you should do it here. You need to set up separate social media presences for your private family life that is not attached to your brand or brands. And we'll get into that in a second why I'm saying brands. For Facebook, you will set up a page or a group separate from the main profile users log into, and you will not make that an entirely brand new profile to interact with your brand. You're just going to make a separate page or group to work with. Pages and groups were created to talk about and promote what you're selling, even if that is just yourself as a personality. You will never use the tools to post random real-life family stuff. You're never going to put those on your page or group. However, strategically created family stuff, perfectly fine. That's why there's so much stuff on my kid all over the internet, because I'm selling stuff and using the kid. Likewise, you don't go selling your products or services on your personal profile, because Facebook distinctly forbids this. At least they do now. That's not how the case was when it started. But now that so much business is going on and so many other things in the background, they are specifically keeping the personal people, or who should be personal people, as personal things, as actual friends and relations, and your businesses can do what they want to do. Those willing to test out the Instagram, which sounds like you'll probably want to do, is going to have a little bit of a different setup. you're going to go to your settings and turn your accounts into a business account so you can get the extra stats and benefits, with the greatest benefit being the ability to create and link separate accounts to the same login for ease of use. Now, once you've established which account is for which, keep your family stuff on the personal accounts, keep the promotional stuff on the promotional accounts. This will set you up for easy swaps between the accounts to manage them much more simply than logging in, logging out, going back and forth. You can effectively manage them, but it keeps your lives separate. You must be extra careful, though, to make sure you're on the right posting, on the right account to post, or you can have some situations that get really, really embarrassing. Now, also, we want to think about Twitter as well. And the big three I use are Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Anything else I can't really help you with other than saying the basics of these types of information. I don't use them because they're not effective for my business, and I don't get them. So that's how it goes. But for Twitter, you're going to have to go old school. You're going to have to set up separate accounts using separate emails to distinguish themselves. You can be the same person, and since most of us have 4 or 5 different emails, and Gmail and those likes are always free, you can make as many essentially as you want to, or as many as you can find the right keyword and the right name for your accounts. But the same rules for managing these apply to your postings, basically everything. You want to make sure that your public stuff stays public, your private stuff stays private, and your promotional stuff is on the promotional accounts only and not on the selling in the private things, because that's just not how it rolls. Of course, the downside is you will have to log off and log back on if you're using the app, or using basically from anywhere, computer or app as well. But that does make it a bit more tedious, but the same thing applies. You can keep your lives separate from your other lives, and that's where you want to do it. You want to sell where you want to sell. You want to keep your personal, private thoughts, even though you're putting out there on this internet, personal and private in that little batch so they don't get confused. For people who run small businesses out of their home but have chosen to rent out P.O. boxes to get their mail or conference rooms to have big meetings, that is, of course, understandable. This is what you do to give a guise of professionalism. It's just to show that you're a little bit bigger than you are. And those people will totally understand why you want to separate your business person from your person. But for you personally, Lindsay, and your past life as a mommy blogger and lifestyle blogger, you may one day want to bring those back up. Working on this project may bring up some things that you want to throw into the mommy blogging. Now you're a working mommy blogger. Now you're doing all that stuff. So you definitely want to keep these separate. In fact, you might want to make up brand new profiles for your personal family life. Keep your mommy and mommy blogger and your lifestyle stuff separate. And then create accounts for the food truck and maybe accounts for your husband and the other guys working this thing. You don't want the dealings with the food truck and your husbands and those guys overtaking your mommy blogging juice from before. Yes, you'll start with 0, but here's the real key thing you got going on for you. You have a presence with your profile already. You're already famous, if you will, so you can promote those guys and that truck using your fame to add to the initial start to their efforts. So you can transfer some of your juice by promoting it to other folks, and people who are in for it will get there. From there, you just work to increase the numbers just like you did for your thoughts on being a lifestyle blogger and a mommy blogger. You, of course, started from 0 back then as well, but you don't want to mix the streams, if you will. You don't want to mix things up and get things confusing. You want to keep that life as it is. You want to make sure you have a separate life so you can do more family stuff, like pictures you only want actual family to see, and you want to do stuff that's for the businesses. The food truck itself, the guys separately, maybe they have their own personality that they want to sell things outside the food truck. That gets them a jump, and they can cross-promote back and forth as well. It happens all the time with people, celebrities who have their own brands and their own accounts for themselves, and they shoot things back and forth. Thank you, Lindsay, for giving us this question, and make sure you keep us up to date on how things are going, whether the food truck actually takes off, whether the social media work takes off as well, or whether you decide to just be a mommy blogger and make more money than all of them because you're already famous. Let us know how things are going so we can keep up with that, and, of course, let the listeners keep up as well. We want to also thank our sponsor for this week. That, of course, is Blinkist. And Blinkist is an amazing way to invest in your business and your future by doing something very simple, something you should be doing anyway. That's reading more. The Blinkist apps lets you read or listen to key insights from the best nonfiction books out there. If you've been jealous of those people who always claim to consume multiple books a week, you can't figure out how they do that, you can not only do it too, but you can consume multiple books in a day by using the Blinkist app, and you can try it for free on us. Check out the website, businessquestionsansweredhere.com/Blinkist. That's spelled BLINKIST. Businessquestionsansweredhere.com/Blinkist, or stop by the sponsors tab at the website and visit any of our sponsors. But definitely check out the spotlight sponsor for this week. That is Blinkist. A quick question we're asking you this week: are you running separate social media accounts for yourself and your business? Let us know how that's working for you, or if you're doing it the opposite way and not separating your lives, and if that's working or not working as well. We'd love to hear from you on that. Leave your comments in the comment section here, and we will talk about them later on down the line. Remember, you can help us grow and maintain this podcast by visiting our sponsors and, of course, stopping by the webpage every so often, businessquestionsansweredhere.com, for more information about the podcast, of course, archives and subscription information, and to submit your questions for review. Once again, I'm Jay Cleveland Payne, eagerly awaiting your business question to answer here.